have you been checking out all the stuff that's going on in Syria? It's like World War III is seriously right around the corner.
To call it a powder keg is underdoing it. And he's absent from the party. I mean, I don't know how he decided that he didn't have to be president. But as far as I know, he's still collecting a paycheck.
Well, part of the reason he's absent is because he's the most secretive president in history. He talk about non-transparency and talk about like spying on people and all the crap that he's doing. In fact, did you see he just recently dropped charges on a Libyan arms dealer because he was going to spill the beans on Clinton's involvement in arms dealing in Libya. Obama drops the charges. And the other thing that wasn't reported at all is there was an independent group that went into Syria and talked to all the Syrian people and came back and said that the Syrian people support the president there, actually. And when they say, like, how many Muslims are there in Syria? They say 23 million. How many Christians are there in Syria? They say 23 million. The Syrian people, because they consider themselves one people. And what's ironic is that the U.S. is in there basically funding ISIS and funding all these groups because they want to put a freaking pipeline through the country. And
well,
now
that's it. Clinton already said she wants Assad out.
Right.
So did Obama. He wants him out. So, it's nation building in the worst sense of the world, and with all the unintended consequences that we know that brings.
Well, and China has allied with Russia as regards to Syria, and but what they want is just chaos, because chaos, like you said, you can sell currency short, you can sell more bombs, you can keep perpetual war going.
All good for George Soros.
And on C-SPAN, one of the generals came out and said, look, if there's a no-fly zone, that's war with Russia. John McCain shut him up and basically said, reword that, punk. Because they want it. And if the New World Order's girl, Clinton, is installed, which it would be installation, wouldn't be winning a popular vote, because everything in the mainstream media is all lying about that right now. It's gonna be TPP and World War III, and U.S. going to be in for a world of hurt, and it's right around the corner, and it's closer than people think, because nobody's talking about this shit, and they're using Aleppo as a way to rile people up when they're not talking about the fact that the U.S. bombs just as many cities and bombed the Syrian army to wreck the ceasefire. It's not Putin's fault that all this is happening. And so, and also, too, blaming Russia on all these hacks, which there's no evidence for. And why would they hack the Democratic primary to help Clinton and then be helping Trump? None of this makes any sense. So, and even Hillary Clinton came out and said, I'll use force if there's cyber attacks. How ridiculous is that? And nobody wants her. In Japan, they don't want Clinton to win. They hate Clinton in Japan.
Yeah. She must have something on every news chief of every, Clinton network in the country, because it's embarrassing. There is no more journalism, really.
No, they just but they want to keep, Maddow wants to keep her $7 million a year job.
Well, even now, you heard about the rift between Sean Hannity and Megyn Kelly, because my theory is Megyn Kelly is really, her contract is coming up. She makes $10 million a year. The number that was put out there was as a joke, because it was the amount that was given to Roger Ailes, but that she wanted $40 million a year. So she figures it might as well be open season on Trump, because if I'm not going to get the money here, I have to get the money from one of the people that are supporting Clinton, so I have to go after Trump. So Sean Hannity called her out on it, and this started this war going on there. But it is, it's a sorry state of affairs, but it's all part of the new, as you say, the new epoch, and people are not really listening to those people anymore. Just a few uninformed people who only that's their only exposure to news. So, but everybody else it's too immediate, and they're
Well, because it's crazy. It's only bad news about Trump. Here, Clinton is basically committing treason and getting away with it, and all they talk about is Trump's tax returns from 20 years ago. That's the only thing that gets in the news. Not the fact that Libyan arms dealers charges are being dropped, that James Comey has been exposed as a complete fraud, and the FBI, with people with integrity are now like revolting against this.
Yeah.
The fact that they're giving away immunity like candy to all these people around Clinton. There's no reporting of that. All the voter fraud, there's no reporting about that. It's just Trump's tax returns, or Trump said something stupid.
Which, by the way, was legal. And we set up the tax code like that so that people wouldn't go out of business and all the jobs would disappear. That they could say, okay, you lost some money, so we're going to hammer you and lose more money.
And the truth is, most people don't care. They don't care.
They just want to know, what are you going to do to make my life better?
Right.
Now, if we want to go back, 20 years, we can certainly go back and revisit Paula Jones and Monica Lewinsky and all of those things, and then go back to Whitewater.
But there's no policy. At least out of Clinton, it's just Trump is bad, me good. Trump is bad. Trump is bad. There's no policy there.
What did you think of the vice presidential debate?
I didn't watch all of it because Kane is unwatchable.
He was unwatchable. I agree.
He's just unwatchable. It's the same thing. All Kane spoke in is just these platitudes, and Trump bad. I don't like either of them, to be honest. I don't like either of those guys.
I forget how many times. I think it was like 160 times Tim Kaine mentioned Trump.
Well, everything he had was scripted. It's the same thing. It's the same when Clinton was cheating in the other debate, where she had an earpiece, where she was giving, hand signals.
I saw the picture with the wire in the little box.
Lester Holt had an earpiece. She had a teleprompter. When you look at her face, she was clearly listening to something when Trump was speaking. There was questions that was off limits. They screwed up Trump's microphone. And Sunday's going to be even worse because you got Vanderbilt kid, who when he throws the parties in his Brazilian estate, and like Lemon is there, and Maddow, and Chris Como, and all the heads of corporations, and some people from Goldman Sachs are there, and people from Raytheon and Boeing, and they're just partying it up and laughing and drinking blood, and Clinton is there, and her people are there, and they're just going, American people, fuck them all,
idiots,
idiots. We got this in the bag.
Don't forget the basement comment.
Yeah, and then Sanders, who's become nothing but a pussy, comes out and goes, oh yeah, she's right, yeah, my supporters do live in a basement. Yeah, what else do you want me to say? Clinton crime cartel. What else do I say to keep my legs?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to keep walking upright.
Right. What else do I do so I can keep walking and so my family will live? What else can I say? Please tell me.
Oh, God. Well, it's going to be interesting. My prediction is that Donald was so embarrassed by his performance last time and being nice to Hillary, and when he was handed things on a platter like cybersecurity, to say, cybersecurity, how can we have this this individual?
Well, we'll know after the second debate whether Trump has been threatened or if he's in on it, because a lot of people were pissed that Trump had all these opportunities, he didn't do anything. Now, granted, everything was stacked against him. Lester Holt was wired, Clinton was wired. They had hand signals. She had all the questions before.
As soon as he brought up the emails, Lester Holt cut him off. The same thing happened with Pence. As soon as Pence brought up the emails, They said, "I want to go to another question," and they literally turned to Tim Kaine and asked him the question. So
World War III, dude, it's coming. World War III. I mean, it's already started. It's already started, but it's and the sad thing is that in military spending of the world's military spending, the U.S. is like 36, 37%. Like this is the whole world. Russia is only like 4%.
mm-hmm.
The only thing they have more of is nuclear weapons. Do you want to be poking that bear? Is it a good idea to be poking that bear?
Hillary thinks so. Obama thinks so.
I mean, Trump wants to lick caviar off naked chicks on some yacht in the Black Sea with Putin. That's what he wants to do. He only wants to freaking poke the bear with a champagne bottle and laugh when it pops, and then they make a deal.
Yeah.
On something.
Yeah.
You know? He's not tied in with Raytheon and Boeing and General Dynamics and all these war profiteering companies.
Yeah. Well, there are big oil implications there, too. Like, if they can get a war started and shut down some oil fields, the price of oil goes up.
Right. And they can grab that pipeline. And
yeah.
I'm sure all these mega rich, they've got bunkers. And, in Russia right now, they're, like, making bunkers. And they're, like, giving people nuclear drills right now. What's going on in Russia right now? They're getting ready for it.
Yeah. Well, my prediction is that despite the best efforts of the Illuminates moderators this Sunday, Trump will actually give it to Hillary this time because Marianne Conway will have him prepped for the debate, unlike before. And he's going to realize when they say this to you, this is what you say. He's going to have to memorize that. And Clinton took, I guess, all of yesterday off just to do that. So, but I hope nobody flashes a camera flash in front of her so she has a seizure.
Well, trust me, it will be all dark. And they're even going so far now as rotoscoping her interviews when her eyes go wonky. You see that thing on the plane where her eye like flashed a little bit? It's because they did a bad rotoscope job because her eyes are all wonky.
Yeah.
And all these like quote unquote rallies are all green screened and faked and staged. And there's actors asking her questions. Like that little girl asked her a question. Total actress, turns out. It's all completely fake, but they're going to all be at Vanderbilt Kid, Brazilian compound, just laughing. American people just frickin' laughing. We'll just collect more of their taxes and fly on our planes. And if they nuke it, less population. We got our underground bunkers. We'll come back up with all our hoarded gold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the bet that George Soros is making. So he's got to see it come true, and he's going to line the pockets of everybody who wants to make that happen.
What are your odds on World War III after Clinton is installed?
I'm still holding out. I'm still the holdout saying the polls are, except for a couple of them, they're basically all wrong. They're getting the whole thing wrong. And he's actually going to end up beating her. Even if they try to fake it, he'll still end up beating her. And
yeah, but Sanders still beat her, and they ended up faking it.
True. And if they pull this whole... I think the other thing about rattling about the Russians is that way they have Homeland Security or whatever take over, or NSA take over the...
Or how about Assange backing off at the last minute? Probably his mother was threatened.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something going on. That was very fishy. They've gotten to him some way. And they may say, hey, some people know a way into the embassy, and so your life expectancy is going to be 0 if you put something out.
And what's to say Trump is not going to wake up with a horse head in his bed before the debate?
Yeah.
I mean, you hear Bill Clinton says he loves it when he makes people squirm, when he goes in a room and makes people sweat. Loretta Lynch was allegedly shaking when he saw her on the plane in fear. It's
Well,
like the freaking
and
angel of death walking into your room.
what'd you think about Bill's comments about Obamacare?
They don't care anymore because I think they know they have it in the bag. They don't need, like, Hillary just says, all right, 30 more days, 29 more, like, until it happens. And then Maddow and Chuck Todd and Judy Woodruff and John Oliver and Michael Moore and freaking Bill Maher, Clinton surrogate, Stephen Colbert, Bono. They're all just going to be jumping in the streets. We broke the glass ceiling. We're so happy that that kind person who's fighting for the little guy, Hillary Clinton, won. And just the whole country's going to go to shit, and World War III is going to start.
Well, and don't forget that Lloyd Blankfein from Goldman Sachs will be there celebrating too.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to vote for anybody but Clinton if you work for Goldman Sachs.
Time to change things.